السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله الحمد لله الملك القدوس السلام رفع السماء بلا عمد والأرض وداها للأنام. أحمده سبحانه وأشكره وأتوب إليه وأستغفره. أما بعد، يقول الله تعالى: أفحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Like everybody has done, I also want to take permission to start with the existing protocol. I want to start because I discovered the time is very short. We have only 50 to 20 minutes, so I'm trying to make my speech very brief. You see, in order to put everything we have said today in perspective, I want to start from when the sister stopped. The story of Shaitan. Will the Shaitan ever allow us to rest? People ask, why are there calamities? Why are there trials? Why should Allah try me in the first place? I want to quote the story of MacDougall in one of his books. He said, in the savannah, every day, the lion must believe that he should be able to outrun the laziest gazelle in order to get food to eat. And the gazelle must believe that every day he must be able to outrun the fastest lion in order to survive. But whatever happens, when the day breaks, everybody is running. This is a point we normally miss in our lives. When the day breaks, we are supposed to be running. Because the lion is the Shaitan, and we are the gazelle that are about to be consumed. But we easily forget this fact every day. Even though the Prophet ﷺ told us that when a baby is born, the first cry that comes out of that baby is as a result of Shaitan pricking or doing something to that baby to tell him, welcome to the race. So why are there trials? Trials is the best way for Allah to keep us in focus. It's almost like you're having a wrestler in the stage, or you have somebody who is fighting in the stage. What is the best thing to do to that person? Is it to give him food while he's fighting, or to teach him how to fight better? So in order to fight better, Allah tests us once in a while to stretch our resolve, to test our faith. Now, we hear about positive thinking, positive thinking, positive thinking. I want us to connect this very well. Positive thinking is not just about thinking. It's about knowing what to think about, and that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وَأَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. He said when Ayub called out to Allah that I have been afflicted, and you are the most merciful. This story is used a lot about patience, about how Ayub was patient, but there is a part of it that is normally not focused on, which is how did Ayub accept his trial? When Ayub was tried, after 3 years, he didn't pray to Allah for Allah to relieve his pain. He never prayed. The wife came to him and said, what do we do? You are a prophet of Allah. Let Allah pray so that Allah will lift it from you. Ayub told the wife, he said, how long were we enjoying? He said 70 years. He said, can't we wait for 70 years first? Let us wait for another 70 years and see what Allah will do. So Ayub knew what the wife may have forgotten. That is why Yaqub, each time in the story of Yusuf, he would tell his children, Inni a'lamu min Allahi ma la ta'lamun. That I know from Allah what you do not know. And what is it that Ayub knew from Allah? Number one, that everything belongs to Allah. He does whatever he wants. You have no business. Allah has decided to test me, although I'm his prophet. That is Allah's calling, and I have nothing to do about that. It's just for me to be patient. So I will remain patient until Allah decided to lift his punishment. And the second thing is Ayub knows that the race is on. Every day you wake up, the race is on. It's either Shaitan is getting you or you are running away from the Shaitan. So that is why I told the wife, I will not seek cure. And one of the days, it is said that the shaitan came in the shape of a very beautiful man, a very handsome man. I told the wife that, tell your husband, and I can cure him, and I can do this, I can do that. And when she came to the husband, he said, that is the shaitan, and I don't want him to win. Indirectly, the shaitan should not win, and he didn't allow the shaitan to win. So Ayub was patient. So he knows that the life is temporary. Even if Allah decides to try me for 70, 80 years, I will die eventually. So what is important is what comes after death. Because if you lose this life, that's the end. You will live here and lose the hereafter. And never be arrogant when it comes to dealing with Allah. Some of us, Allah has tested you and you are full of complaining. That is why Ayub never said, oh Allah, you have afflicted me. Masaniya shaitanu binusubin wa adab. That shaitan has afflicted me. He never said, oh Allah, why have you done this to me? Oh Allah, I'm your prophet. You should have, be kind to me. You should give me money. You should give me that. And what was the test of Ayub? He lost all his children. In one incident, he lost all his money, he lost all his children, and at the same time, he got a very terrible disease that was affecting his skin. I don't think anybody can go through that today without having a lot of options. Why is this? I was really happy when I was invited to speak on this occasion, because we are going through a stage in our life where the Muslims are gradually being drawn to the Christian way of thinking, which is the prosperity. We have about a lot of prosperity preachers today, and now you find the Muslims also be drawn to the same trend. That somebody will now tell you that if somebody worked for 10 years doesn't have a car, that's a failure. If somebody works for 15 years doesn't have a house, that's a failure. But have you told that person maybe Allah didn't write a house for him? We have so conditioned ourselves to see the good of life that we are not preparing ourselves for the race that is ongoing. We are not preparing ourselves for the temptation that we are supposed to expect every day. Because that is supposed to be the reality of our lives. That Allah will test you in order to keep you focused. We are so weak now that all we want to think about when you marry is you are thinking of how many children you are going to have. You don't ever think that maybe Allah didn't write a child for me. After 3 years, your wife not having a child, you are all over the place. You must have a child, and everybody is suggesting to you, go to Mr. A, go to Mr. C, go to Mr. B. But who says this is Allah's decision and now we wait? Because of the prosperity preaching that we are in today, we now believe that whoever is poor is because Allah is not happy with you. Whoever is rich because Allah is happy with them. It's the same thing with health. If Allah give you health and you are healthy, the next thing you are thinking is, I'm going to retire at 70, I'm going to retire at 80. You are not thinking that you might even die before the next minute. So we keep thinking and thinking and thinking, and we are forgetting about the reality that is staring on our face 24/7. And this has done a lot of damage to the psyche of the Muslims. So that is why, whatever we are writing about positive thinking, I want us to tell our children, it is not just about thinking. That thinking should be connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is what Allah has written that will be. What Allah has not written will never be. When you leave your school and you are the best graduate, and the next thing you are thinking is you want to be a CEO of a company. Who knows? Allah didn't even write. Allah has written that you are going to be a beggar. Somehow, some way you end up being a beggar. So today, even whether you are a Muslim or you are not Muslims, what is true happiness? True happiness, just like Hajia told us, she just summarized it. True happiness is only in two things. Number one, that you have no control over anything. You have no control over anything. If you think you have control over your children, you are joking. You are just doing your best. Number two, you should be able to picture the worst scenario in every situation and prepare yourself to accept it. Because you have no control. So don't always think of the best. Oh, I have malaria. Okay. Or you have a disease. Doctor will say, you know what? I know 100 people who have survived this, so don't worry yourself. Just take 1 or 2 Panadols and you are done. But it never occurs to you that maybe Allah may call me. So let me increase my tasbih. Let me increase my dua. Let me increase my prayer. The time you would have spent worshiping Allah, you will spend it looking for medications, looking for things that may not work. And eventually, you die in that state. So, the true key to happiness today, whether you agree or not, these are the two keys. Knowing that you have no control over anything. Everything belongs to Allah. And that, you can lose everything anytime. So prepare yourself. Because how do the rich men survive? It's with this realization that anything can go up in flames anytime. And there's nothing you can do about it. So if you still think that prosperity is a way of thinking, then look at the realities of life. We say nobody controls what they are going to earn. I don't think when Dangote was in secondary school, he could tell anybody that I'm going to be a billionaire. There was no way. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يُنَزِّلُ بِقَدَرِهِ مَا يَشَاءُ لَوْ بَسَطَ اللَّهُ رِزْقَ لِعِبَادِهِ لَبَغَوْا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Allah says that if He makes everybody a rich man, we are going to destroy ourselves. وَلَكِ يُنَزِّلُ بِقَدَرِهِ مَا يَشَاءُ. He only gives us in proportion to the way He wants. So if you have 50,000 naira today, it's because Allah decreed you are going to have 50,000 naira. It's not because you are too intelligent, you are too this, you are too that. And we see that in the story of Qarun. إِنَّهُ كَانَ مِنْ قَوْمِ مُوسَى فَبَغَى عَلَيْهِمْ وَأَتَيْنَاهُ مَا إِنَّ مَفَاتِيحُ لَتَنُوءُ بِالْعُصْبَةِ أُولِي الْقُوَّةِ إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ قَوْمُهُ لَا تَفْرَحْ. When Allah gave Qarun everything, all they asking was pay zakah. And all he said, إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُ عَلَى عِلْمٍ. What has Allah got to do with my money? I made it by my own knowledge. I was intelligent. I did this, I did that, and I made the money. And for Allah to show them that He doesn't need His money, فَخَسَفْنَا بِهِ وَبِدَارِهِ الْأَرْضِ. Allah made the earth to swallow him and his money. Allah doesn't need you. He just wanted you to be useful to yourself, but choose not to. So we should know, and that whatever you have can vanish any moment. And that sometimes the person you have invested in so much, you love this child so much, you gave him all your love, you invested money in his university. The day he graduates, his dead body arrives at your doorstep. Can you do anything? Because Allah says, وَلَنَبُلَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ. We are going to test you. So Allah will test you in the most beloved thing to you. So these are realities of life, whether you are a Muslim or not a Muslim. And sometimes somebody less intelligent than you, somebody way lower than you in thinking, in secondary school, in university, you even helping them. But when you graduated, he becomes your employer. And you start to ask yourself, how fair? Now, these days you hear people say, the world is unfair. Life is unfair, because they don't know what Allah wants about life. That same person you are looking at, you are talking that he's an idiot, he doesn't know anything, we are helping him to pass. By the time you are graduating, he's already a CEO of a company. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَهُمْ يَقْسِمُونَ رَحْمَةَ رَبِّي. Are they the one to share the favors of Allah? نَحْنُ قَسَمْنَا بَيْنَهُمْ مَعِيشَةً فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. We are the one distributing the favors among you. وَرَفَعْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ فَوْقَ بَعْضٍ دَرَجَاتٍ. And we are going to make some of you better than others. Why? لِيَتَّخِذَ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا سُخْرِيًّا. So that we will make ourselves as a joke. Somebody you think is a joke become more successful than you. If you like, you die. That's your problem. Allah has decided. So, now, you ask yourself, people have asked me this question. Does Allah answer the prayer of a non-Muslim? These questions have come to me. Does Allah answer the prayer of a non-Muslim? And you laugh and you ask, why would even a Muslim think like that? Because if you go through the Quran, just like we said in the beginning of this story, if somebody is in the ring and is fighting an opponent, and you are giving him food to drink, what are you doing? You are killing him. But if you are teaching him how to throw punches, how to defend, how to fight better, he will win the fight. So it means the test is the real thing about life. Allah is making you real. Think about life. So, if Allah hates you, does Allah answer your prayer? Allah can answer your prayer, and Allah will answer your prayer. At times, as a believer, Allah may not answer your prayer. But a non-Muslim, Allah will answer his prayer verbatim. Verbatim means the way he wanted it. Piecemeal. I want it. I want a wife that's like this. I want the children of 10. I want 3 cars. I want 5 houses. And he will get them. And you are a believer. You'll be saying the same prayer in your kunut, in your sujud, in your tahajjud. And up to now, you don't even have a job. So, Ibrahim alayhi salam told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ijal hadha balada amina wa zuq ahlahu min athamarat. He was telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I want you to bless this country, Makkah and the surroundings, and then enrich the habitats with fruits and good food. Man amana minhum billahi wal yawmil akhir. Those who believe in you and the day of judgment. But Allah told Ibrahim, woman kafar. Because Ibrahim is asking, I want you to only bless those who believe in you and the day of judgment. But Allah says, even those who are kuffar, I will bless them. I will give them what they want. But for how long? For a little while. And in Surah Al-Baqarah, he said, Alam tara alladhi hajja Ibrahim fi rabbi an atahu lahul mulk. Don't you see the one who argues with Ibrahim? Because Allah gave him mulk. Allah gave him kingdom. And who was that person? That was Nimrud. He was the biggest enemy of Allah. But Allah says, an atahu lahul mulk. So if Allah hates somebody, doesn't mean he will not make you rich in the world. So people should take this out of their mind, that answering prayer is evidence of Allah being happy with you. No, that is not a fact. But if Allah loves you, He will test you. So that is why Allah, the Prophet said, is that ahabballahu abdan ibtala. That when Allah loves somebody, He will try them. So if Allah is trying you, it means that somehow Allah wants you to be a nice person. 3 people must be tried by Allah. A sinner who Allah wants to expiate his sin. A good man that Allah wants to raise his degree. And a doubted Thomas. Allah wants to know where he belongs. That some people are worshiping Allah sitting on the edge. If the Muslims are looking good, he will go to the Muslim side. If the Christians seem to be more successful, he will go to the Christian side. Allah will throw him a test to see where he actually belongs. So, and the 3 people, when you look at these 3 categories, you believe that everybody will be tested. Because all of us are either this or that. We are all sinners. Although most of us might not be very pious, but we are all sinners. So Allah will test everybody. That is the meaning. And what's the benefit of calamities? It's to teach us patience. It's for us to realize how great Allah is. And patience. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to teach us how to be patient. How do you overcome calamity? Because I want to quickly summarize. I can see that there's something on the screen already. So how do you overcome calamity? Yusuf alayhi salam summarized it for us. Innahu man yattaqi wa yasbir. That when you fear Allah and you are patient. That was why throughout the time Ayub was sick, whenever the wife goes out to seek for livelihood, whenever she comes back, Ayub will verify that whatever she's coming with is halal to eat. He must ask, where did you get this from? Oh, I sold something and I bought this. I did some work for people and he was always sure to make sure it doesn't swallow haram. Innahu man yattaqi wa yasbir, inna Allah la yudhi'u ajra al-muhsinin. So Yusuf alayhi salam has already taught us what to do. But when Allah tested you and you passed your test, Allah will give you His rahmah. It might be in this world, it might be in the hereafter. But let us just mention a few examples of how does Allah give you rahmah. Musa alayhi salam, after all the tests, he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ij'ali wazira min ahli. I just want you to give me an assistant from my family. What did Allah say? وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ مِنْ رَحْمَتِنَا أَخَاهُ هَارُونَ نَبِيًّا. We gave him Harun as a prophet. He only asked for a wazir, but Allah gave him a prophet. When Zechariah asked that I need a heir, I need to give me a child, Allah gave him a child and he said, وَأَصْلَحْنَا لَهُ زَوْجًا. Not only that we give him, in fact, we also fix his wife for him. So whenever Allah's rahmah touches you, Allah will give you double, either in this world or in the hereafter. Ayub asked for cure, but Allah gave him cure, gave him back his family, and doubled the family for him. Yusuf alayhi salam, Didn't even ask for a favor. He asked for prison in order to escape the wrath of Allah. But Allah gave him what? Made him a minister, made him a prophet, bring all his family from the village. That's why it's called Ahsana bi. Ijja bikum min al-badr. That is, Allah has been kind to me. That He brought you from the village and He took me out of the prison. As a Muslim, when you overcome a temptation, what is the next thing you should do? That is where I want to end my speech. And I want everybody to go home with this. Yusuf alayhi salam, after seeing all the stories, they prostrated for him. He said, Rabbi qad ataytani mulna al-mulk wa 'allamtani min ta'wil al-ahadith fatir as-samawati wal-ard anta waliyyi fi dunya wal-akhirah tawaffani musliman walhiqni bis-salihin. When Allah tests you and you are able to overcome your test, don't ask for this world, ask for the hereafter. That's a lesson you should go home with. Because some of us, we want more, more, more. We should know that our home is over there. And whenever we ask, that is what we ask for. Because at the point Allah is relieving you of your problem, you know that Allah has listened. So use the opportunity to ask for akhirah. Tawaffani musliman walhiqni bis salihin. So inshallah, I hope that everybody has listened, and may Allah make all of us benefit from what we heard today. أقول قال هذا واستغفر الله ولكم أجمعين واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.